At the end of the last video, we generated a new package.json file inside of a new inbox project directory. You'll notice that I started up my code editor. I'm making use of Atom here. I encourage you to open up any editor that you want to use based on this inbox directory. Remember, you can use any editor you want here. There's no one editor that's better off for working with Solidity contracts just yet. So you can use VS Code, you can use WebStorm, whatever you want to use, it's completely up to you. In general, I recommend you use the same editor that you're used to for working with JavaScript projects already, because a lot of the stuff we do is going to be very closely coupled with JavaScript projects already. All right, now before we start just diving in here and writing any code, I want to give you a quick overview of some of the different project files and folders that we're going to create to organize our code. The first folder that we're going to create is called contracts. This contracts directory will contain the raw source code for each of the contracts that we end up building. Our current project is only going to have one contract, which is going to be referred to as inbox.sol. .sol means that this file right here is going to contain some Solidity code. If we had other contracts, we would also locate them inside the contracts directory. The next directory we're going to make is going to be called test. This is going to contain one file that's going to be testing the inbox contract using some Mocha code that you and I are going to write. The inbox test file right here is going to be where we spend the vast majority of time with this first project that we're working on. It's where we're going to learn how to interact with a contract using JavaScript code. Next, inside of our root project directory is the package.json file. Like any other JavaScript project that you might have worked on over time, the package.json file will behave in the same way. So we're going to create some number of scripts inside of it, and it's also going to record different dependencies that we install into our project. Next up is compile.js. This will be a small script file whose sole purpose will be to look inside that contracts directory and compile each of the Solidity contracts that exist inside of it. So this is going to be kind of a one-off project file or a one-off file that is used solely to compile our code. And then finally, we have deploy.js. This is also going to be a little script file whose sole purpose will be to take some compiled code and deploy it to an Ethereum network. And that might be the main network or Ropsten or Rinkeby or even a private local network as well. All right, so now we've got a little overview. Let's get started by creating this contracts directory and the inbox.sol file as well. So inside my code editor, I'm going to create a new folder called contracts. And then inside there, I'll make a inbox.sol file. Next, I'm going to flip back over to Remix, where I have all my inbox source code. Here it is right here. I'm going to copy all of it, and I'll flip back over and paste it in. You'll notice that when I paste my code in, I get some nice syntax highlighting on all the contract code. Chances are you might not have any syntax highlighting on by default. A lot of code editors presently do not ship with any understanding of what Solidity code looks like, and it doesn't really know how to properly highlight it. I've already taken the liberty of installing a small add-on inside my code editor that teaches Atom how to do syntax highlighting. In the next video, in the next lecture, I'll put some text and I'll link you to a couple of different plugins that you can use depending on your code editor to get some nice syntax highlighting like you see right here. So let's pause here. We'll continue in the next section. You can take a look at your specific code editor and download and install some syntax highlighting for it. Now, one quick thing I want to mention about syntax highlighting, it is not strictly required at all. The only thing that this plugin is doing for me inside of Atom is making the code look nicer. I don't get any autocomplete out of it or anything like that. So if you have a tough time installing one of these packages for syntax highlighting, don't sweat it, just move on, and please don't spend too much time trying to get the syntax highlighting to work. So let's pause right now and we'll try to set up some highlighting in the next section.